Welcome to the E-commerce Leaders series, the podcast dedicated to helping founders and operators navigate the future of e-commerce with AI. I'm your host, Ciske Smit, and I work on product strategy and development at Luke AI. And today I'm joined by Michaela Krizkova, the CEO of PCF Souvenirs, also known as the Postcard Factory, which is the largest souvenir company in North America and the only one, I believe, operating across both Canada and the US. Michaela came up through operations in IT, where she started as a process engineer and then worked her way all the way to the top of a business that today ships more than 15,000 products from distribution centers into countries. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation about running a genuinely complex cross-border operation efficiently. So Michaela, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So first, let's start by telling the listeners a little bit more about you. What's interesting to me is that you didn't kind of come from sales and marketing as one would expect. Rather, you came through ops and IT, as I mentioned, and I believe you studied economics in Prague. So walk us kind of through that journey and how you ended up leading PCF today.
Well, it was a little bit of it was an unplanned journey, really. I came to Canada from the Czech Republic when I finished my studies, and I got some little bit of experience while I was studying. But when I came to Canada, it was a little difficult to get a job and as an immigrant. And I joined this company, PCF Souvenirs, as an IT business analyst. I was supposed to document processes for business requirements. Anyways, as it happens with my education and with my expertise, I was able to stick my nose into other departments. I found some inefficiencies, and I really, I'm not lazy, and I hate getting bored. So I started to work with the departments, and I saw so much automation that we could do. There was so much work that was so much manual work that was unnecessary. There was a lot of inefficiencies. So I started to work with the people, find out what they are doing, and we started to implement one automation after another with our IT department. And as it happened, the owner of the company noticed me. We started to work more together. I took over the warehouses, then I took over IT management. Eventually, I took over marketing as well. And just recently, 2 years ago, I was able to take over the full sales department as well. And really, the biggest struggle really is to build the right team and find the inefficiencies, right? And AI now is helping, definitely, but it needs the right team and the right mentality. Mm-hmm. But really, that's how I made it where I am.
Seems like an interesting path. I think people who enter a business based on curiosity as opposed to wanting to follow a specific career path end up with a most kind of interesting view of the business. So it's good to have that hypothesis of mine validated. So you've been with PCF for almost 11 years now, I think. I read. Gave you a little LinkedIn stalk earlier. And building on that, you've obviously seen the company grow over the years. And you've mentioned these inefficiencies that you spotted. And the manual systems that were in place. And what I'm kind of curious, what was the biggest bottleneck that you encountered? Do you have a recent example? Do you still find them every now and then, or did you kind of weed those out over the years?
Well, really the biggest bottleneck in growth, what I'm seeing from my experience, is the team. If you discount force majeure, right? Like COVID happened, that had a horrible effect on our business because we are in tourist industry. If nobody's traveling, obviously that just was really bad. And then we had to rebuild the business, and then Trump and the tariff war came, so we were kind of facing one struggle after another. But I think after COVID, since we survived COVID and we were able to rebuild the business, nothing can really sink us. And knock on wood, I mean, but it's the biggest struggle is to get the right team, because when you have the right team that looks at what, when you have the people that look at their job as not something that they have to do 9 to 5 for the rest of their life, but they come with the mindset, or you're able to build that mindset where they're looking at something and saying, why am I doing this? If IT can do it, if we can automate it, if AI can do it, if I can, then I can get more efficient and maybe I can move up, right? And I always think about or tell people, if you're not replaceable, you're not promotable, right? And so if they are able to automate most of their job, and then they come and say, listen, I have time, I can help you with other things. This is really what I need. And this is the mindset that helps you implement whatever automation.
I find a lot of people are so scared that AI will replace them, but you've made such a good point now that being replaceable is what will help you at the end of the day. And so in kind of building this team, you seem to work together with them quite closely. How do you make critical decisions regarding, let's say, inventory and forecasting? Because you seem to have a lot of data coming at you from many different systems at all times, and very, very good data. So what does that kind of decision-making process look like, and what are your frustrations, and how do you optimize the process?
That is quite difficult, and that is a challenge that we have right in front of us right now. So it's a very good question, and we do want to automate it. Now, we've been struggling with, when you look at inventory of souvenirs, and maybe even a different, any other inventory, you have to look at it not just from one angle. You cannot look at it as, okay, what is selling and what's my quantity on hand. That's not enough. You also have to look at it from category perspective. If we look at keychains, do I have enough keychains for this territory? Can I run out of one, or can I not run out of any because I only have 5, right? And then you have to look at every product from the design perspective, and you have to look at it and say, let's say that we have 5 turtle polyglobes and we have only 1 lighthouse polyglobe, right? So if you look at it, for the turtles, they're exchangeable. We can afford, again, running out of 1 turtle, but we cannot afford running out of that 1 lighthouse. And so you look at it from these 2 perspectives, then you add your human insight, knowing, are we growing the territory? Are we not growing the territory? Do we have a good sales rep, a bad sales rep? Do we have good merchandisers, and so on? Did we make any special deal with our customers? Did we get more space? And then once you package all this, once you analyze all this, you have to look at it from another angle, and that is the purchasing perspective. Looking at it, okay, how do I consolidate this? Am I meeting minimum order quantities? Am I consolidating this from multiple vendors across, across China or any other countries? And so that is quite complex, and this is what we're we try to automate this as much as possible with our IT and with our IT department, and they've been great. But we didn't use AI yet, and this is what's the next step. We have this project for the coming year to implement AI in this process and help us with this.
Yeah, I think AI could really help there in regards to kind of this cross-domain reasoning that you're referring to, having to look at everything from multiple different angles. But as a human, we just often don't have a capacity to do that, right? We just have too many things going on.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that guests often mention beyond this kind of idea of a lot of fragmented data and trying to keep track of it all is scaling while keeping your team kind of lean and trying to keep your costs down. You've mentioned that you encourage your team to automate and to really almost make themselves redundant or replaceable. Do you find that you are still able to maintain through your kind of approach an efficient and very lean team, or have you also come across this issue of scaling, but also not wanting to grow the team too much?
Well, so I think you can never be perfect, right? So we will always find more improvements. So whenever I finish some project, I think, okay, this is great. We achieved what we needed. And then, 2 months in, you discover, wait a minute, and we can, or sometimes 2 years in, right? You discover, wait a minute, we can also automate this. We can also improve it further. And it's again about that mentality, trying to ease your job, because in the end of the day, you're never going to be fully replaceable as long as you are smart and you have your expertise, right? So AI cannot, we could argue about that, but I think you still need managers, you still need people who communicate with other people. You still need that human aspect. That's not going to be replaced, especially definitely not at this stage of AI, right? Like, I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years from now or 20 years from now. But right now, this is what I'm focusing at right now. We want to have people who are using their brains, not their hands, right? And people who are trying to do things efficiently and do the right thing. So the moment when you can disconnect from the daily routine, this is when you can focus on the bigger task. You can focus on strategy. You can focus and think about, okay, what can I change? What can I do better? Maybe you revisit some project that you put on a back burner and said, you know what, it's a nice to have, and we're just going to keep doing it the way we're doing it because we don't have time to improve it. And this is what I see really in most of roles. You can't apply it to all of them, obviously. I mean, there are warehouse people, there are production people, right? Like, you can't automate that. But from order entry data, analyzing our credits, giving us a snapshot of how the company is doing, this is not something that a person has to do or should be doing on a monthly basis. This is something that you should be given by IT.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's this idea of kind of freeing up your almost capacity, your mental capacity to do the interesting work, right? Where the really sticky things are. What tools have you and your team found are the most useful for doing this? If you could recommend some tools to any listeners.
Well, so I know that for our developers, Claude AI is one of the good ones. For processes and procedures, we've been using, I believe it's called Scribe, and it's an AI tool that watches what you do on your desktop, and it creates a procedure for you. So when you want to document processes and procedures, it's not going to automate them for you. It's not going to improve them for you, but it's going to document them for you. So again, you're saving the time of somebody trying to figure out, okay, how do I document this? What screenshots should I put in there, and what screenshots I should not? And I use Claude AI as well for typically if I need to polish some procedures, if I need to work on a strategic plan, I interact with AI, and it helps. It saves a lot of time building just that manual task, building the document that I can actually spend time thinking about what we should do strategically as a company, and I don't have to spend time, writing the actual document. That itself is a great help. And then, for what I know, I'm going to go back to our team, to building the right team. It's really critical to find the right people, and I've been struggling with that. And now I found a really good company that's called Just Sales Jobs, and they do only salespeople. But I know that they use AI for building the profile and then matching the candidates to the profile, and it's amazing how it works. And I think I will always work with them. They're great, and they're great because they're so well organized, and they're able to listen to your needs because they don't have to take care of the other things. So.
It's incredible that your love for the human, or your real focus on the human, and then also kind of trying to make them do really well at their jobs, or do really good at their jobs. So I'm very, it always inspires me when people care about both the technical and the human aspect of work. When you then think about advice that you would give to other CEOs in e-commerce businesses like your own, apart from choosing a really good team, which you seem to have a really good grip of, how would you, or what advice could you give to people looking to improve operational efficiency and decision making in today's kind of environment?
Well, I would have to go back to the team, but okay, I'm gonna try to refrain from that. There are that I think building the mentality that problem is actually not a bad thing. Problem is a goal for improvement. That's the thing when you shift the view on any type of problem or obstacle, where people look at it not as something that is, they should be ashamed of, or that needs to be put into a drawer, but it's a goal for improvement. It's your mind where you can build your future success, right? This is where your evaluation will be based on. This is where your performance is going to be evaluated on. But that's one thing from AI perspective and IT. It's really, many CEOs don't understand the connection with IT. They don't understand how IT could help them. They might really be stuck in that, I manage my people and I know how the business should work, because especially with the small and medium businesses, right? I understand that for corporate, that's a different story. But for medium and small businesses, I would give them this advice, like, don't underestimate it, and go and find how it can improve your business, even if you think it's not relevant for you, because it is. And it will help you drastically. You just don't know how yet. And now if you don't know and you don't have time, maybe ask some of your friends or some of your relatives who might be better versed in this aspect, and find out how AI can help you, or join some seminar or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that every company can benefit of it, a little bit or a lot. That depends, but that is really the thing for small and medium businesses.
And it seems like it has to be a kind of top-down implementation, right? If you have a CEO who's curious about these things and encourages it, like yourself, it's more successful, the adoption within the company.
Well, yes. If I always find good to include the people at the very early stage, so that they are part of the decision. It helps greatly with adoption. If you just come and say, from now on we're using AI, or from now on we're doing this, it's difficult for the people to accept. When you make them part of that decision, it's much easier, smoother, and they actively participate, not just passively. So but yeah, it's probably, and small company, you might have some people that will bring it from bottom to the top.
Yeah. Now moving to the future for a second, if I did my research correctly, PCF has an in-house design team, I believe, that turns out kind of souvenirs and such. Now that AI is, of course, also capable of kind of spinning up ideas, design concepts, how do you and your team work with it? Do you consider it a threat? Do you consider it an accelerator for kind of custom products? What is the view?
It's not a threat. It's a great tool. We actually use it where we can, because it helps us. It will never replace our artists, right? This is the thing that people have to realize. It's not like you tell AI, hey, design the souvenir for me, and it's going to design it correctly. So, but it again helps you. get away from the manual tasks. So it's a great opportunity. It's a great tool that has been given to our departments around the world, right? I strongly recommend people to use it, and be careful about the IP, right? That's you don't want to get into legal trouble, but AI is not perfect in that aspect. But other than that, it's a great opportunity to improve your art and the efficiencies there. Yeah.
It's great to hear a positive opinion about AI and the creative space, so that's good. Now, just to end off, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. So this is just 4 quick questions, gut answers, don't overthink them. But if you want to elaborate on any of them, of course, feel free. Yeah. So the first question is, what is one trend in AI for retail and e-commerce, that you think people should be paying more attention to?
That way, I will lean on the negative side. It's really your privacy, right? And how you're being, how you could be manipulated. It can be. It's not as a big of an issue when somebody's manipulating you into buying a lipstick, right? But you might have, like, it's dangerous, and the dangerous thing comes really from the fact that it's not controlled by and there are no rules for it by the government. And I think that is the scary part of this. So when you post this question, it's not safe, and it's heading toward, we don't know where it's heading, right? And again, we don't have any control. So that would be one thing. And it's not only retail and e-commerce, it kind of applies to everything.
Yeah, we all very happily give all our data to these big models, and then we forget that the privacy thing, or we are so easy to manipulate, right?
Yeah.
What is one trend then that you also think people are overhyping?
Overhyping. Well, yes. Okay, there is a huge trend right now with the youth, where people, like all the kids, are using AI instead of their brains. And I think this is the scariest part, is that these people are going to go into the world and they're not going to know how to use their brain. I've seen youth that are using AI as a calculator, and that are using AI to write their own essays. They're just, or reviews on books and so on. And again, it's not regulated. And I think that's a really bad thing, and scary, again, because we're growing a generation that doesn't know how to use their brain. They're not even forming their own opinion. They go on to AI and they ask, what do you think about this? And it's not right? And these people will be voting when they become adults, right? And they're not going to be able to make their own opinion. And again, this is a thing that governments have to stress right now, actually, because right now it's happening. And so the overhype is really using AI for everything. It's wrong, and it shouldn't be like that.
I totally agree with you. It is, it's in an age where you can automate everything. What's really valuable is our critical thinking, right? And then when we don't practice it, or we are raising a generation who is discouraged from practicing critical thinking, where will we be one day? It's a really scary kind of thing to think about.
It is.
What book or idea has shaped the most how you think as a leader? You seem to be a very good leader, if I might say so. So I would love to know this answer.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It would be Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
It's really long time ago when I read it, so I don't know if I got the title the right way, but that was one of the big ones.
Yeah, incredible. A really good book. I'll definitely put that link in the show notes. And then final question is, one piece of advice you'd give every founder or operator today?
one piece of advice, it would really be build a team that's gonna help you make your dream come true. It's about a team. It's not about you. You know, if you're young, ambitious person who's, you know, who is full of this idea, it's great, but you will never be able to achieve it on your own. Now, you have to be a great leader. You have to have the vision. You have to be able to put strategy together. Absolutely. You're going to be making most of the decisions. But without a team behind you, it's going to be, you know, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I've really been reminded of the importance of good people and a good team, and then supporting it with tech. Thank you so much.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. And people should also like each other, right? So it's this kind of synergy and
yeah, that's another thing. You're spending at least a third of your life at work, right? So you want to be able to enjoy it somewhat. You want to be feeling fulfilled by what you're doing, and you want the dreams or goals to be reached, achieved, right? So really, people are the most important factors.
I fully agree. Well, thank you so much. This has been so interesting. I really enjoyed it. Before we wrap, just let us know, where can our listeners find out more about PCF? Do you have a website or an Instagram page that people can go to?
So we are B2B business. So it's really, you know, unless you have a store, we're not gonna interact much. But our website is pcfsouvenirs.com, and we will gladly serve any custom needs. We have custom department where we make your dreams come true on souvenirs, obviously. But I'll absolutely, yeah, you can reach us there, and you can connect.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the e-commerce leaders series, and thank you for this conversation. I feel very inspired, and love your positive kind of adoption of AI within the workplace, and I can imagine your employees do too. And then to all the listeners, if you've ever bought a magnet home from North America, I'm assuming PCF made it. Have a look at pcfsouvenirs.com. They live on a lot of people's fridges across the world, etc. So have a look there, and then that's a wrap for today, and see you on the next episode.